Merci. Y a-t-il une...
Thank you. Any objections? You have the floor.
الكلام عن committees وليس committee يشعر بأن
When we speak of committees, one thinks of ad hoc committees, whereas here we are talking about the permanent committees. So there should be one type of committee and not several committees. I don't know why we talk about this here. Are we going to establish several or one committee for this specifically, or are we going to have many committees? Because if you talk about committees, it gives one gets the impression it's ad hoc committees, whereas if you talk about permanent committees, well, that clarifies it. I'd like an explanation. Thank you. You have the floor. Excellencies, I'd like to just to explain there won't be new committees. I like what Uganda says. We have to give this mission to an existing committee. For example, we have the Foreign Affairs Committee. We can therefore ask that committee to take on this new work. It's like at the last summit, when you're going to set up a committee to involve themselves in terrorism, the heads of state say, but if you create a committee, that's going to mean extra budget. Why don't you put the work of fighting against terrorism within a committee, for example, for conflict, a committee that deals with conflict or foreign affairs? So that's why we're going to put the fight against terrorism against the foreign affairs budget. And so this is we're talking about an existing committee, which the one dealing with foreign affairs. I think because establishing a new committee requires more budget. Thank you. Thank you, dear colleague. I think that without objection we can stay with the wording proposed by Uganda on the alignment, because all this will be done in accord to the rules of procedure of every chamber. Any other objection? Let's move to point number 8 then. Any amendments? Madagascar, you have the floor. Jean-Max? Thank you, excellent, Mr. Chairperson. My amendment, it's more a question of a problem in the third line. It's a problem in the French. There's a le which is too much, so that should be removed there. So it would be recommend to the Pan-African Parliament to identify influential personalities in all African region, not instead of dans les toutes. It's a French problem. So that was just an error. Burundi, you have the floor. Thank you very much for giving me the floor once again, Mr. Chairperson. I wanted to point out that same error, but I have a proposal regarding the influential personalities in all African regions, so as not to create a confusion and speculation. Should we say recommend to Pan-African Parliament to identify personalities in all African regions who are in a position to champion the cause of accelerating, etc.? Thank you. So, as far as that amendment is concerned, with any objections? No, that we will adopt that. You have the floor. Yes, I agree with that article, but I should like to propose that we should add in Arabic version or even in the English version in a coordination with the national parliaments to appoint, to identify these personalities, these So that's what I should like to have amended. Thank you. So there's an important addition in coordination with the coordination with the national parliaments. Any comment on that? Excellencies, the idea here, perhaps we can take away that influential, but the idea was to identify personalities who are interested in perhaps problems. It wasn't necessarily the influential, it wasn't necessarily, people who are influential, but that people who we can use these countries then to convince other countries. We called these champions, in fact, but we said that Mali was a champion and could do lobbying amongst other countries. But as far as the ratification problem goes, well, in the national assemblies, there's not such a problem with the ratification. It's with the executive that the problem arises. When this protocol was adopted in Malabo, we asked all the heads of state to sign the same day. And if that had been done, the parliaments would already have followed on. So what we're trying to do is that to have these people is actually these influential personalities who are independent of the assemblies. They aren't a problem. I don't know in what countries that could even arise. So I don't think we need to add within the national parliaments. As far as Burundi was concerned, I think that doesn't contradict the initial heading of our text, because Burundi thinks that we could say, to name, to identify, or to appoint personalities in a position or capable, something like, yes, I think that was already accepted. And the second one was to add in coordination with the National Assemblies, perhaps we could say in collaboration with, and then any objection to that? So in collaboration with the National Assemblies. Any other amendments? No. We move to point number 9. Any amendments there on item number 9?
9, I want to introduce a new proposal. We did say that the African Union is far from the minds of the people. So I wanted to add that a new paragraph to state urges the member states and the members of the Pan-African Parliament to popularize and market the African Union, its opportunities and benefits to the people of the African continent. And I said that we now have something we can be proud of, the e-passport, which, if availed to the people, would ease their biggest headache on this continent. So I wanted that we address the people now, not just civil society. That's why I'm proposing that new paragraph. Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you. Any objection to this proposal? None? So that is adopted. Item number 9. Any amendment there? Central African Republic, you have. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. In the wording which is proposed to us, we're talking about the groups of the civil society, which is mentioned here. And our delegation is wondering about this. Why include civil society instead of simply asking for the application of a consultative process in which all the players in the process would participate? Why speak of the civil society? When you say all the players in the process, then that includes civil society without specifically referring to them. Our colleague, the Vice President of the the Central African Republic suggests we remove civil society because when you include all the players, then that will automatically include civil society. Thank you. I think that this was brought to the fore because civil society has a role to play in the lobbying, and civil society isn't a player in the ratification process. So what we want to do is let them play their role. The civil society should therefore apply pressure or go. They have the. I think that this is a good text, and we should keep it like that.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you for giving me the floor yet again. I would like to align myself with the Central African Republic, because to specifically put civil society there instead of speaking of the players, I think we should not accentuate this parallelism between civil society and the other, because civil society will be one of the players who will be able to help to promote the ratification of this protocol. Thank you.
Oui, Président.
Monsieur le Président.
Yes, President. Mr. Chairman, I do understand the situation of our colleagues from Burundi and the Central African Republic, but you know that within the African Union, one of the components is the civil society through ECOSOC, the Economic and Social Council of the AU, which brings together civil society partners. I'd like to assure my colleagues that there are neutral civil societies. 3 weeks